Okay everyone, so today we are doing an initial run. So I did an introductory episode the end of last week. If you've not watched that, go back and watch that. Basically I'm doing a budget shoe rotation experiment. Those that watch the channel, I work on a budget anyway. I don't spend lots of money on my running stuff. I don't have much disposable income to spend on it, so I generally find bargains anyway, but I just thought I'd go really extreme and find the cheapest ones I could find. So today's the first initial run. I've got 3 shoes to test out as part of my rotation, my budget running shoe rotation. So the first one's going to be the ASICS Jolt 3. At the time of buying these were the cheapest shoes on sports shoes at the time. They're a nice green colourway. They wouldn't necessarily what I would have picked, but again, these are the only colour available at the time. So brand new, still got the tags on, unworn. So I'm going to literally get them on my feet straight out of the box, and I'll do a bit of a review as I'm running around, and then do a recap when I get back to the car in terms of how they feel. Do they feel cheap, etc. So yeah, I bought these I think they were RRP'd for like 45 or 49, something like that, 49.99, something like that. I'm going to put on the screen. And I picked them up for £33. And again, at the time of buying them, they were the cheapest shoe on sports shoe. I literally just put road running shoes, size 11, which is what I am, and these were the first ones that popped up, so I bought these. I've had ASICS before. They're very durable generally. Sometimes feel a bit heavy, but again, I won't go into it with an open mind how good or bad a £33 ASICS shoe. So I'm going to try them out today. First one today. I'm saying I'm going to follow up with my other 2 shoes, which was an Adidas Duramo 10, which again I picked up for £35, and then my last initial run I'll do on is the New Balance 680 V7, and I picked that up for £50. So again, that's a slightly more expensive shoe. I wanted a bit of a comparison. It's still massively discounted from £90. That was RRP'd at. So yeah, it's going to be a little initial testing experiment on a shoe rotation and budget shoes, just to see curiosity for me to see how I get on and how good they are and how bad they are. And it'll kind of inform me for future purchases. Hopefully you guys will get something from it, and hopefully get some information in terms of are they good, are they bad, etc. So I'll get on with this run and I'll check in mid-run. Okay guys, so about 2.5k in, so immediate initial reaction, positives. Breathability is good. It's windy and cold today, and my feet until the last k were freezing, so the air was whistling through my shoes. So breathability good. Grip, again, a bit wet and damp today, wet leaves and tarmac today, so grip good. I've had no issues yet, running up and down hills, so grip's good. And then not negatives, but again, observations, they're quite heavy. Again, I'm comparing them to my current rotation, so my Hoka Rincon, my Reebok Float Ride, and I've even got trail shoes, my New Balance Digital V4 and my Nike Pegasus Trail 3. I'd say these are probably as heavy, if not maybe a bit heavier than the trail shoes, which is noticeable when I'm running on roads, because comparing them to my Reebok and my Hokas, they feel quite a bit heavier. Also, so the weight's one thing, the midsole's pretty firm. Again, comparing them to the Hoka and the Reebok, they have a squishier foam, which again is my preference. So I'm going to maybe a bit biased with that one. But yeah, this is a firmer ride, definitely. Much firmer than I'm used to. So again, open mind, I'll give it the benefit of the doubt. So yeah, so a little bit heavier than I'm used to, and I'm much firmer than I'm used to. Maybe it's because it's brand new again. Is it softening up a little bit? Maybe, but it's still going to be much firmer, which again is what I expect for the budget shoe. I'm not expecting cloud foam for a shoe that's cost 33 quid. So yeah, and the only other observation so far is the rocker. So again, on the Hoka more so, and the Reebok a little bit, where the toe is kind of designed to curl up and helps you through your gait cycle. Again, I've been used to that for the last 12-18 months with them shoes, and this shoe, it's really late, it's really just on the toe. As you hit your big toe, you get a tiny little bit of a curve to help you flick through to the next stride. So feels like I'm doing all the work. The midsole's not giving me much. It's quite a heavy shoe, and there's no rocker to help me glide through my cycle. So like I said, not necessarily negatives, because like I said, it's a budget shoe. It was RRP'd, or put on the screen, I think it's 45 or 49 quid as full price, so it was always a budget shoe. I picked it up for even less, for 33 quid, so picked up a bargain. I'll get a bit more run done and I'll come back in with some more views. So the weather's turned a bit, but all part of the fun. There's one more thing I've noticed. This is just my feet, but these ASICS are running a bit long for me, so I got true to size 11s, and they're probably a bit too big, so I could have gone half size down. Reebok and ASICS, they're two brands I think that run a bit long for me. It's just my own personal experience. Other than that, are they enjoyable to run in? Yes. And again, just as a bit of a background, my legs are probably a bit jaded today, and I'm running in Bidston and there's hills everywhere, so it's probably not aiding my, what's the word, not enjoyment, but the ease of running in these shoes. So, but yeah, overall pretty good so far. Get this one finished, I'll check in the comfort of my car. Okay guys, run done. So yeah, so doing a 10k. I think I'm going to do that, obviously a standardized test. I'll just do a 10k with each of the shoes as I put them on. So yeah, just as a quick recap now, obviously I'm trying to balance this out fairly, that I shouldn't really compare these or any other shoes to any other type of shoes, because especially more expensive ones, because they're always going to come out looking worse, which they probably are, but I've got to take them at face value in terms of the value the price I've paid for them, etc. So obviously I was comparing back to what I've been running in recently in my Reebok Float Ride, which are a £75 shoe, which I got last year for 55, and my Hoka, which are a £105 shoe, which again we reduced to 73 last year. Obviously, so these the ASICS Jolt 3s, these are RRP'd for £48 on sports shoes, and I got them for 33. Obviously I think there were the last few sizes left in the colourways, etc. So but yeah, overall just a quick recap now. So like I said, mentioned about the rocker, so it's pretty much completely flat until the very end of the toe off, so that's one thing I noticed. Obviously I'm used to the Hokas, and the Reebok's got a bit more of a curve at the toe, in the toe box. So yeah, so observations, they're a bit heavier than the others, but obviously I knew that anyway. I could tell that from the stats. They're a bit firmer than the others. Again, I could probably guess that from the fact the price. Very breathable, really good grip. So again, just on 10k in a really wet, windy day, full coverage, really good grip, no issues whatsoever with grip. They run a bit long for me, so the 11s are a tiny bit long for me. lockdown was good, decent comfy tongue. I find some of these more recent shoes, they got really thin tongues, again to save weight, but I end up feeling the pressure on the top of my foot, and I prefer a thicker tongue, a bit more plush. Again, no issues with comfort. The heel counters very firm, but again, I had no issues with that. It's cushioned enough, not plush, but it's comfortable enough in the heel counter. But yeah, so overall, pretty much what I expected. Did I enjoy the run? Yes, I did. It was windy, rainy, very hilly, but again, that didn't affect the enjoyment of the run. The shoes were comfortable enough to run in. So just off my initial reaction, is there worse shoes out there? 100% there is worse shoes out there, probably. I got my Caramore Swift last year. They were a £75 shoe, RRP'd, and I picked them up for I think about 37 or 35, something around that figure, and they are a terrible shoe. The outsole fell off, where the rubber fell off the outsole within a couple of weeks. They're also really firm. They're breathable enough, but again, they were £75 shoe. They're nowhere near as good as like a Reebok Flatline, which are RRP'd, and a Puma Nitro, for example, is kind of RRP'd, a similar price. ASICS, I know they're going to last. That's what I've had ASICS previously for the previous kind of 5, 6, 7 years, and they always get you to 500 miles, 800k plus, because they're so firm, they don't die that fast. So that's the benefit of it. So yeah, will they stay in my rotation this year? Probably, well, definitely yes. That was kind of the plan anyway. I was almost stuck with them. It was almost a long-term experiment. I see them, just again, initial reaction, they're probably going to be, because they're quite firm, but they're not particularly, but yeah, they probably have to be like a speed work shoe. So they're quite heavy, but again, I'm not going for PBs or world record attempts. So because they're firm, again, I did a couple of strides then towards the end, and you can get up to speed. Yes, you've got to work because the rocker doesn't help you flick through your gait cycle quickly, but I still got up to a decent speed. So yeah, they could be work as a short distance speed work shoe. They could just be one of them workhorse daily trainers where when you've got a session that you're just getting some miles in and there's no real plan, you're not doing threshold or you're not doing any recovery or whatever, and you're just going out and getting some miles in the bag. These would be good ones to grab, just to clock up the miles, the workhorse that you can almost not waste the miles on, but just put the miles onto these ones rather than maybe a better shoe. So like I said, I've got other ones coming up. I've got the Duramo 10, I'll test both that and probably the New Balance 680 next week. So they compare. The Duramo, again, in my head, research showing it's probably more of my easy recovery day shoe, so that should be softer, and that's what I'm going to try and probably use that for that. And then the New Balance is more of a comparison to the two I've got, the Hoka Rincon and the Reebok. It's a £50 I paid for, and it's a £90 RRP, which is kind of right in the middle of the Hoka and the Reebok. So hoping that I'll compare more favourably to them two, and how that compares. I said I really enjoyed the Reebok. That was probably my favourite shoe last year. Probably outperformed the more expensive Hoka. But again, it's all personal preference. Drop in the comments. What kind of shoes do you go for? Do you go really expensive and get the best there is? Are you like me, a bit of a scrimper and a saver, and you find a bargain and a bit thrifty with your money, and do you go for the cheaper shoes? Do you go somewhere in the middle? Let me know in your comments your favourite shoes from last year that you ran in. And then, like I said, what kind of shoes you go for. Do you have a specific brand? I know some people stick to a brand. I was that person previously. I was used to stick to ASICS. Now I like a bit of variety. I'll find anything that's available, just to see what I prefer. But yes, drop in the comments. I'll continue with this. Obviously, this experiment, it'll roll on. I'm going to keep these shoes. I'll do all these initial reactions, and then in the next couple of months I'll get 100-mile review out, how I feel after 100 miles of the change, my opinions have changed, etc. As always, thank you for watching. If you're watching all the way through to the end, I do appreciate it. If you haven't yet, just liked, shared and subscribed, click the button, share the videos, etc. I said to continue to grow, and do appreciate everyone's efforts. I will say on my next one I'll probably drop is probably the initial run of the Adidas one, so look out for that one. Hope everyone's getting through the winter running okay. Plow on with your mileage. But yeah, I do appreciate it all, everyone watching. I will see you all on the next one.